Hey guys, Derek Wagner here with Scott Kramer. We're both from the Surface team here at Horizon Hobby, and today we have a special edition Thursday Thunder, and today it's all about the Super Baja Ray.
That's right. That's right. As you guys may have seen from some of our posts on all of our social channels, the Super Baja Ray is now in stock and shipping. So it's going all across the country right now. Should be shipping worldwide probably in the next week. So keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, now people can finally get their hands on this bad boy.
Yep, absolutely.
So we've done all these videos. We've kind of, dove into some of the ins and outs of the trucks, showed them how to do gear changes, stuff like that. But what's your top 3 favorite things or cool things about the truck?
I got to say, if I had to boil it down just to 3, which is difficult, but the size it's unique.
Yep.
It's not a 5th scale. It's not an 8th scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's right in between. But it's perfect because you can hit big jumps, big whoops. You can still drive it in the neighborhood. You can drive it like a large scale, but you can also drive it in more confined areas where you're not going to be able to drive a 5th scale.
Definitely.
Right? I think number 2, and if it wasn't number 1, is just the brute power that this vehicle has. Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you've driven it more than
Yep.
I have. It's got an insane power plant in it, right?
Yep.
You got a power plant here that could probably power a Prius, right?
Yeah, I think it could probably beat a Prius.
It probably could, and so it's powered enough to really push the limits of what a vehicle of this size can typically handle.
Yep.
Right. And number 3, it's just got to be the scale realism.
Yeah. True.
Right. So you got a 4-link. Solid rear axle rear end,
mm-hmm.
just like the trophy truck, full-scale trophy
Yep.
trucks, right? And a lot of people ask us why we do that, because on an RC car, that typically hinders its performance to some extent. It makes it a little bit more difficult to drive, I should say.
Yeah.
Right? But thanks to just the insane suspension package and AVC, or active vehicle control, basically our traction control system, it makes it extremely fun and extremely manageable to drive, even when you're running it on 6 or even 8S power.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when we were doing the speed runs out front, I mean, if you guys haven't seen the video, please check out the video. I think we were at 60, 61 miles an hour. We were pulling a wheelie. It was going so fast, and I'm sure we could have got it going faster. We could have kept the front end on the ground, but
I think you're right.
It was getting kind of crazy.
I think you're right.
But that's where the AVC, when we were doing the speed runs, we were tuning it, turning it down, turning it up to see what the perfect spot was. And I think that's a big misconception about the AVC, is that people think that, oh, this has AVC, it's always on, but it's not. You can go from 1 adjustment to a million adjustments, all just by the turn of a knob. So it's
Yep.
However you like it.
And most people find, and I think you and I have found this as well, is it's somewhere in between 0 and 100, right?
Yeah.
I like, typically with a vehicle like this, AVC at about 40 or 50%
mm-hmm.
is perfect. It still gives you full control over the vehicle. AVC is not taking away any control at all, but it makes the driving experience that much better because the vehicle just handles that much better.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
One question I get asked a lot is, we hit 60 mile an hour on your last speed run,
mm-hmm.
and clearly the vehicle had more in it.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
And somebody asked me the other day, why do you only put 50 mile an hour in your box, right? And we take I call it we sort of lowball the speed rating and make it fair to, out of the box, most consumers are going to easily hit 50 mile an hour.
Oh yeah,
right?
we hit 53, just half charge pack, threw it on the ground, 53.
Yeah, we basically underrate it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the, if you're a car audio guy, a lot of the old school amplifiers used to be 50-watt amplifier, but they push 200.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Correct.
And we like that approach versus a lot of other companies just put the absolute maximum speed the vehicle can handle, and a lot of times it can't even reach that speed.
With the asterisk.
With the asterisk, right? We try not to do that. We try to be, completely transparent to our consumers. But let's get to the point. This vehicle, 60, 65, even 70 mile an hour, is not. It's completely capable of reaching those speeds.
Definitely. I've seen the video. I've done some testing. So what you guys have seen out there is only the tip of the iceberg. We know what the truck can actually do, and in the next week or two, we'll release those videos and show you guys how fast this thing really can go.
Can we give them a hint?
Nope.
No hints?
They're going to have to wait.
Let me give them one hint.
Does it have the number 7 in it?
No.
Oh,
no number
okay.
7, but what I do know is we do have a video, and it may or may not be posted here in the next couple weeks, of the Super Baja Rey doing 67 mile an hour while doing a wheelie.
Oh, we've already posted that one.
We did?
Yes, we did.
Wow, if you haven't seen that video, guys,
yes, that one's amazing.
You need to check that out. The vehicle still has a ton of power, and it's doing 67 mile an hour on a wheelie.
On a wheelie.
That's insane.
And that's not the end. Just there's more. Trust us. There's a lot more under the hood, so to speak.
So give us, you know, we've been running, you know, 6S is what we recommend.
Mm-hmm.
We've been running 8S, but tell everybody, you know, give us a little, if somebody wants to run 8S,
okay,
you can run 8S, but give them a little bit of background story on what they shouldn't do.
Yeah, with the 8S, it's more or less, the ESC is completely recommended and rated for 8S. ESC has no problem. The motor is more rated for 6S. So that's where it kind of comes into play. So if you're going to if you want to run 8S, just do it for a speed run, 1 or 2 passes, let the ESC, let the motor cool down. Don't slam on the brakes immediately, because that's going to draw a lot of current through the motor, which could obviously damage it. So if you're going to do the 8S, you know, do it strictly for a speed run, not put the 8S in there, leave the big gearing on there, and go run for 15 minutes. You're probably going to damage the ESC or the motor.
Got it.
So I think it's just strictly for the guys that want, you know, the speed junkies that want that, you know, 70+ mile an hour speed that you can get out of these things.
Well, yeah, and you know, one of the industry trends that we're seeing is higher S counts, more power, and people want to see what those, how far they can push it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why if you want to run 8S on this vehicle, run 8S.
Yep.
But just do some speed runs with it, and you're going to be hitting speeds of, I mean, I know you hinted that you didn't want me to say it before, but it's going to be, if we're hitting 67 mile an hour on a wheelie, you can just, well, take your best guess at what you can achieve with 8S on a straight line, right, with no wheelie. But, you know, like Scott said, be careful. Use some common sense. If you're running at a track or in a, you know, bunch of dirt, grass, you know, running on 6S, take care of your investment. I think you'll be fine.
Yep, absolutely. So you hinted on your top three.
Yeah, tell me your 3.
All right. Sticking to the size thing, you know, I think we should actually release that as our next. That should be our next.
A micro SDR?
So we've got our Baja Ray, our Super Baja Ray. Now we got our mini Baja Ray. But
I don't know.
Just joking. Just joking.
Well, if you guys like the idea, throw something in the comments, and if it becomes a thing, we'll talk about it.
All right. So, you know, speaking of the whole ABC thing and the speed, you know, the speed thing, I think one of the coolest features with this truck is that it comes with the Spectrum DX2E Active.
Good call.
So what's cool about that is it has a 3-position switch on top of it. So we get this question a lot of times, you know, is that vehicle good for the beginner? Well, when you know, because they see the 50+ mile an hour on the box and they get scared, well, can my son drive it? Can my daughter drive it? And the question is, or the answer is, absolutely. You know, that 3-position switch, when it's in position 3, that's full tilt, wide open, 50 miles an hour. Then it goes down to 75% power, and then down to 50% power. So if you got little kids,
absolutely got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. They love it.
For them, they could actually drive this when you put it all the way down into position 1, 50% power on 4S, very controllable, probably around 25-30 miles an hour. So it'd be very controllable for them. So, so I love the DX2E Active. You've also got the speedometer, you know, that you could put on top of it. You've got the dashboard app that you could put on top of there and get all your digital readouts of your temperature, your RPMs, your speed. It actually turns the DX2E Active into a computerized radio, because now you can adjust all your endpoints and everything right through the dashboard app. So that's really cool. The second thing would be, I'll reference some of the videos we've done in the past couple of weeks, is the durability and the beefiness of the whole drivetrain. You know, we showed you how easy it is to make the pinion change, and why we did that, we showed you guys the gears, and they're just, you look at them and it looks like a ring and pinion out of a full-size, out of a Prius.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you had the gears on this glass table here, folks, you put it on the table, I thought the table was going to break.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about that too.
I mean, it's not because they were super heavy, it's just because, I mean, they're just solid
steel.
They're going to last forever.
As my watch keeps hitting the table. But yeah, that's the other thing too that I love about it is, you know, when you do throw 6S in there, or 4S, 6S, and then even if you experiment with the 8S, the entire drivetrain is going to handle all that power, because it's so it's almost over-engineered. over thickness or over toughness built into the drivetrain. So that's probably my number 2 thing. And then number 3 is, it's a tough one, because I'm kind of in agreement with you. When you look at this and you see it in the video and you see it running, it just looks so killer. It's so realistic. When we first brought the bodies in and we did the trim schemes and everything, it was neat to see the division between the older people like myself who see this trim scheme and go, that's Ivan Stewart, the Iron Man. I mean, that's very similar to his paint scheme. But then you get all the younger generation and they look at this and they go, Monster Energy. So I saw this and I thought of Kawasaki.
I thought the same thing.
But the Monster Energy kind of theme here and the Ivan Stewart theme here. So so that would probably be my 3rd thing. Is just the overall presence and look of the truck is just.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. And the other thing that neither of us have mentioned, which is different than any vehicle in this class right now, it's a subtle feature, but it's pretty wicked, is the LED light package.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? Comes pre-installed, front and rear LEDs.
Yep.
And let me tell you, folks, these things are bright.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we did a video shoot with Mad Media, which everybody watching likely saw. I mean, there was video clips that I saw it was pitch black, and this thing was like lighting up the whole desert.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and that's included plug and play. You don't have to do any installation. As soon as you power it up, the lights come on. They're on a switch. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. When we were doing the speed runs outside, because of our lovely Midwest weather here, it was quite dreary and dark outside, even though it was only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And these definitely, not necessarily helped light up the road, but when we were getting pretty far away for the speed runs, it just stood out so much because the LEDs are so bright. You could see them so far away.
Got it. All right, folks, there it is, Super Baja Ray, shipping to a retailer near you. If your retailer hasn't got theirs yet, they'll have it sometime this week or early next. And for those of you, that are in Europe, you guys will have your shipment within the next week or 2. So keep an eye on those vehicles arriving in your store. And signing off, this is Derek Wagner and Scott Kramer with the Service Marketing Group, and talk to you later.
See you guys.